Hi everyone, it's Christina here at the Castaway Kitchen. Totally unplanned. I know I'm the worst when it comes to lives. I don't announce them, I don't schedule them. It's just kind of when I have time. But the cool thing is the playback will stay up forever. This post will be here. So you can come and watch it whenever it's convenient for you. Hi, today I'm going to be answering some frequently asked questions. I get a lot of the same questions over and over again via DMs on my blog. And I thought just putting a video up, talking about them very nonchalantly would be great. So let's start. For those of you who don't know who I am a chef, anthropologist, and sociologist by my degree, a mom, military spouse, cookbook author, and self-experimenter. I'm very passionate about healing through food and currently enrolled in the Nutritional Therapy Association to get my certification as a nutritional therapy practitioner. And the great thing about healing through food and ancestral health is that it's really become a movement, and there's a lot of information online and a lot of things and books and people you can talk to and go to for information, which is really great. Sometimes not so great in the sense that there's a lot of information out there. Almost too much, we do live in the age of information. And while I think that a lot of people who suffer from chronic illness, it can be great to have these resources and not have to rely solely on your healthcare practitioner. Of course, it is really important to always have really good conversations with your healthcare practitioner, kind of go into your appointments with information, with valid questions. Doctors are very helpful, but sometimes it's nice to have bring something to the table. We are responsible for our own healing. It's not in the hands of the doctors. We have to take our own responsibility. So this is where healing through food comes in. It's your job. So some common questions I get. First, is it keto? Oh my gosh. I think people ask me that about 100 times a week. Hi, Darren. Is this food keto? And the answer to that question is foods aren't keto or not keto. It's not like a Whole30 that has black and white rules. It's not like the autoimmune protocol that has black and white rules. Oh, my microwave. Hold on, I had something in the oven. Hold on, guys. So what happens there is that you can eat like cane sugar. I wouldn't recommend that people eat cane sugar because it can be like inflammatory and it's processed. However, if you had a tiny bit of cane sugar and like no other carbs for the day, you'd probably still be in ketosis. So it's not that foods are keto or not. It's just depending on your metabolism and your threshold and your insulin sensitivity. Some people can eat certain things and stay in ketosis while other people, it won't. However, small amounts of lemon zest or lemon juice or orange zest or orange juice or half a cup of pineapple in a 2-pound pork roast recipe, those things are probably not going to kick you out of ketosis. Will they count toward your total carb up count of the day? Absolutely. And it's your choice whether you want those are worth it for you. But that question, I think, is it keto? When people ask those kind of questions, they're really just kind of looking for like a validation. They want a manual. And I get that it's hard because there is no manual. And some people will say, no, these foods are not allowed. Like for sure, there are really strict people and groups out there, and everyone has their opinions on the matter. But unless we're talking about a medically, like a therapeutic version of keto, which is used by doctors in clinical settings to treat serious diseases, that's different than the normal run-of-the-mill, I want to lose 20 pounds, kind of keto. Even people like me who use keto to manage insulin resistance and to reverse like autoimmune issues, it's still not as strict. There's different needs there. For me, blood sugar regulation is the number one goal of keto. So I think instead of asking, is a food keto, the better question would be to ask, how is this food going to affect my blood sugar? And you can test out how different foods affect your blood sugar. Blood glucose monitors are super cheap. The strips are not so cheap, but you can get pretty good deals on Amazon. And play around with it. Try different foods, test your blood sugar, see how things affect you. Okay, other questions I get asked all the time. Fasting. What do I think about fasting? So I do implement intermittent fasting, where I eat in an 8-hour window and then I don't eat for 16 hours. It's very easy for me. It kind of happened organically on keto because we eat dinner very early. Like we eat dinner at like 5. And I don't wake up or have coffee. I wake up at like 7. I don't have coffee till almost 8 a.m. So we didn't, so I go from like 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. no food. I do have coffee and then I don't eat like solid food until 10, 11, or 12. And so that's how I do fasting. Some people do really long fasts where they eat at like 6 p.m. one day and then they don't eat till 6 p.m. the next day. I just bought that book, The Guide to Fasting, Intermittent Fasting by Dr. Fung and Jimmy Moore, because I want to learn the more details. I know overall autophagy. I know that like our bodies literally regenerate cells and do a lot of healing when we're in fasting. Fasting has been used for centuries, forever, to heal. Actually, in the Joe Rogan and podcast, the one that had Chris Kresser and Dr. Khan, the vegan and the whole versus meat diet debate, the only thing that the vegan and the carnivore could agree on was the fact there's a lot of benefits to fasting. So I do think, and I have read a lot of testimonies, and of course these are all anecdotal, but even within my own communities, people with autoimmune disease doing 3-day fast or 4-day fast or week-long fasts as a reset to your immune system. It kind of like gives your body that time to really heal. However, I really want to say this because I see a lot of recommendations for fasting when people are stalled in weight loss. And I have a theory that women, especially with autoimmune issues, who have weight loss issues, who can't lose weight, have like adrenal issues going on. There's definitely hormonal issues going on. A lot of them have thyroid issues, Hashimoto's. So they're having problems losing weight. And then people are saying, well, you should fast. And I get it. The science backs the benefits of fasting. However, fasting is a stressor on the body. Like when you don't eat, your body's like a little bit. It's not necessarily bad stress. Not all stress on your body is bad. But even if it's the stress of fasting on your body isn't a negative stress, if you have other negative stress going on in your life, from emotional stuff, from other diseases in your body, if you have an overburdened system, it might not be the best idea. So I think that's why I'm always very weary when people are like, oh, you can't lose weight, or you have 7 other issues going on, but you're worried about your weight loss. Fast. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, talk to your doctor. Because while there are a lot of benefits, I also think that it's not studied, like doing intermittent fasting for people with lots of autoimmune diseases, it's been a hormone imbalance. It's also implementing long-term fasts for healing. Like that also was that was something that was practiced in a time where we weren't overburdened with the kind of chronic illnesses we have right now. So I'm learning more about fasting at the moment. I do implement intermittent fasting in my own life. I have done like one 24-hour fast, but I think I was just sick and didn't want to get out of bed. And I do believe that like if you have like a cold, or something like that, and it's your body sometimes when you like it happens organically. But I will get back to you guys when I learn more. I want to really get into how fasting affects specifically women with autoimmune disease, but that's something that I don't have the information right now. I always just say tread carefully, use your best judgment, and always talk to your doctor, especially if you already have ongoing, like something going on. If you have someone without any chronic health issues and you want to implement fasting for healing and repair, like, performance stuff, blood regulation, great. There's all the literature goes to show that implementing a 24-hour fast once a week or even an annual week-long fast has some like really crazy longevity and like anti-cancer benefits. So that's kind of cool, right? It's something that's really popular right now, but it's absolutely not a new thing. Fasting has been around forever. Another question I get a lot about is carb ups or carb cycling or targeted ketogenic diet. So because I am in the keto camp of I don't think carbs are the devil, I don't think vegetables are bad, and I don't think that everyone has to avoid carbs. I truly believe that there's a misconception of how many carbs is a normal range. When people think of standard American diet, that's not normal. What was the recommendations? 11 to 15 servings of whole grains a day. Like, that's absurd. So humans aren't meant to eat that much. Historically, from what we know from science, from anthropology, from sociology, from like fossils, is that humans ate, like paleo template primal, between 22 and 50% of their calories from carbs, plant matter, stuff like that. So that's not that, on the low end, on the 20% side, that's not that far off from a ketogenic diet, right? So I think that when people try and mentally visual the difference between paleo and keto, they're seeing like all the sweet potatoes versus like a pile of bacon. And that's just not accurate. It's like, yes, if you think of keto versus standard American diet, you're thinking a bowl of cereal, toast, orange juice, a sandwich, a cookie, a granola bar, rice, like a bread roll. Like, holy crap. I remember those days when meals were like a bowl of pasta and then you had breadsticks on the side and dessert, like easily 200 grams of carbs in a meal. That blows my mind. Like, no wonder so many of us ended up with insulin resistance. But if you're framing nutrition from like a ancestral point of view, like humans historically did not eat that many carbs. We just didn't. Like, even just on a paleo template. And I'm not talking about paleo-fied standard American diet, which is another perversion of that. Like, yes, there's people who do paleo and they're eating paleo pasta and paleo bread and paleo cereal and paleo cookies. And that's just, it's not what it's meant to be like, right? It's okay to do those things occasionally. We all do. Are you kidding me? Like, I love a good bread recipe, but it's not for the everyday. So thinking about if you're truly going paleo primal, and I think Mark Sisson's work has really covered this, and going down to under 50% of your intake coming from carbs, that's not that far-fetched to dip into a ketogenic state and then come back up for carb ups, right? And the theory behind carbing up, and I use it for my workouts, is I have carb ups on Monday night after a hard workout, then I work out fasted the next day, and then I carb up on Fridays after my workout. And the theory behind that is because that glycogen, that boost in glycogen right after my workout, goes to help repair my muscles. It's not going to be stored as body fat, and I'm going to use it up for energy relatively quickly and then go back to burning fat, but it's going to really help with that recovery. Also, getting the glycogen back in my muscles will help with performance. So there are benefits to that. And I know that a lot of people on the ketogenic, there's like studies they've done in labs with athletes where they had like people on keto and then people with keto and carb cycling, and the people who did the carb cycling had like less results. But again, athletes, clinical setting, not a normal person, not a woman. So I rather, like, for me, those anecdotal things I think are kind of more important, especially if it's working for you, then it's working for you. I used to do carb ups when I first started keto. I stopped doing them because I stopped needing them. And then now I'm following a workout program where the carb ups are written into the program. So I'm doing them again and it's working for me. So if you want to find out whether carb ups are right for you, try them out. Some people eat a ketogenic diet all during the day. They do intermittent fasting. So let's say they have an early dinner, they skip lunch or skip breakfast, and then they have a nice healthy lunch. And then at night they have some carbs with dinner. And some people do that every day and it works for them. I've heard that works really well for people, especially with Hashimoto's, kind of like gives them this energy to ketosis during the day, but then at night they sleep better, and all that with the carbs with dinner. Other people benefit from Carb Ups once a week or once a month or whatever. Or sometimes people like to kind of schedule in these Carb Ups when they know they're going to be going out with friends. Like maybe you're going to go out and they're going to go to a gluten-free pizza place and you want to have pizza. So maybe think of that day as like, okay, it's just going to be a Carb Up day. And when you frame it, like, it's not a cheat day, but it's going to happen. It's not like the end of the world. It's just think of it as part of the pattern. And then you go on with your life. It's not like falling off the wagon. However, if you're severely insulin resistant and if you have crazy cravings and you're prone to kind of going off the deep end, I would say don't do Carb Ups. You have to know yourself. And that's really important too, because if for you having half a sweet potato or some French fries or a cup of rice is going to like snowball into a whole weekend of binge eating, maybe it's not the best idea. And you just have to be honest with yourself about your tendencies and your habits. Also, if you tend to just not do well with starches, if you have small intestine bacterial overgrowth or candida issues, again, bio-individuality, you have to figure out what works for you. However, I'm now using them as part of my sculpting program, and I'm seeing some pretty good results and some good definition with my muscles. So that's exciting. But like I said, they're not for everybody. Not everyone has to do a Carb Up. Anything else? Do you guys have any questions? Those of you watching, you can type them in and I'll see them. I think that was all I was going to cover today. But yeah, I'm trying to think of any other questions. Oh, coconut cream. I don't know why this is still a super thing question. Hi, coconut cream. For people that ask, is people sell the cans of coconut cream now, and I've heard the Trader Joe's one is decent, but I've bought like the Native Forest coconut cream before, and it's just a little can, and I feel like it's not as creamy as if you put the full can of coconut milk in the fridge and it separates. For me, that's the best coconut cream, and you get the more bang for your buck because it's going to be about a cup that you get. It should be like 3/4 of the can should come out as cream. My favorite brand of coconut cream is hands down the Whole Foods brand. The 365 full fat unsweetened canned coconut milk is the best one I found. What's another random question I get a lot? I'm trying to think. Oh, almonds. I was not able to reintroduce almonds successfully. So I can do almond milk, but I can't do almond meal. And I think that just solely has to do with the density of how many almonds you're getting. And I don't know why. One, like in small amounts, it's okay, but in large, it's not. Almonds are something I've had in and out of my diet throughout the last 1.5 years since I did the autoimmune protocol. And sometimes it's fine and sometimes it's not. But I've cooked with almond meal like 2 days in a row, and I get like burpy afterwards and a little bit like of acidity. So that's just usually I feel really good after 8. So that's a sign that it's not happening. Let me think. The program that I am doing right now is the 12-week power sculpting program by Michelle Burleson of No Fail Physique. And she has a book that's No Fail Physique for women. She specializes in women's fitness. She does use a ketogenic approach, very whole food based. I love her. She's always promoting my recipes, and I'm doing her workout program right now. I'm in week 3. I'm starting week 4 on Monday, seeing some good results. She's very science-based, but it's really nice because she talks a lot about seeing results that have to do with hormone homeostasis, building lean muscle mass, getting strong, losing inches, not pounds, and all that jazz. Plus, she kind of walks you through like, hey, you're going to do this week and you're going to gain weight, water weight, because your muscles are tearing and repairing. So know that. And like, she's just, I just really like her approach. I've had a very good experience working with her, and I'm excited to see the results. And, I don't know, I guess I'll be done in December. So yeah, we'll see. Okay, I'm gonna go. So no questions. No, I think that's it. Hi, Chuchi. Hey, Lizzie. Oh, do I have any issues with cholesterol? Sorry, Tammy, I missed your question. I've actually never had high cholesterol, even my whole life, even though I was overweight as a kid and all that. It was funny because my sister, my older sister, who's skinny, had high cholesterol and I never did. However, when I first went keto, I got some blood work done like 3 months or 2 months into keto. I wasn't fat adapted yet, but I was eating higher fat. And my cholesterol did go up a little bit. But my doctor mentioned, and he was very familiar with a ketogenic diet, luckily. He's an integrative medicine doctor in Hawaii. He wasn't great. People are like, oh, would recommend him. I'm like, I wasn't super happy, but there were some benefits there. Anyway, and I remember him saying it's normal when people first go even paleo or keto for the triglycerides and for the cholesterol to go up just a little bit because your body's still like not using that fat efficiently, but it'll go back down. So I'm actually going to see a doctor on the 30th. I found a new doctor who does integrative, like holistic ancestral healing here in Virginia. And one of the things I'm going to ask her is to get my blood work done because I haven't had a panel done since it's been a year and a half now. So no, overall, I've never had really crazy cholesterol issues. However, there's a lot of new research coming out about cholesterol, and I feel like people are saying like it's a nutrient, it's not bad. And I know that conventional wisdom still has that high cholesterol's bad and all these things. And I don't know enough to say like, oh hey, it's not a big deal, all your high cholesterol issues. I'm not a doctor, but I will say have a conversation with your doctor about it. I know that there is a book by Jimmy Moore, Cholesterol Clarity, or Keto Clarity and the Cholesterol Myth or something like that. And then Maria Emmerich has some really good information on her website as well. People who have been in the low carb keto community for a really long time, like 8 years, 10 years, there's definitely like they're proof in a way that like, hey, we've been eating this way for a long time. These cholesterol numbers don't scare us. This is why. Because like I said, it hasn't been on my radar. I haven't had to worry about it too much. But I am learning about that stuff in school. Actually, this week is anatomy and physiology. So, but yeah, I think you could talk to your doctor about it. I also think that it's important to do like a full panel and also look at your triglycerides versus just cholesterol levels. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, though. I know that there's a lot of research, though. Norma, I can't think of her last name. Damn it. What's it? Norma Negudas. It's a weird name. I can't pronounce it. She also has a book, and I think it's called The Primal Healing or something, or Healing with a Primal Lifestyle. And she's another like old lifer. I don't mean to say like she's old in age. I'm just saying like she's been doing this. She's like the hardcore old school low carb, high fat advocates. And she has a lot of info on cholesterol and like she speaks all over the world. And I'm pretty sure she's a doctor. So yeah, those are the people you want to look at. That's where you want to go for that kind of information. I would definitely find an MD to discuss that with. Okay. I think that's it. I have to finish taking some pictures for Diet Doctor recipes. I made croquetas and empanadas today and natilla, so I'm excited. Hope you guys have a super good weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye.